Hey, what's up? It's Shay here. I don't really have a name for this series, or if it even will be a series, but I brought along my friend Dylan here,
Yeah, that's me. I exist.
and we're gonna talk about some music. Let's get on with it. So basically, we're in a band, Guardrail, and there's no shows going on because of a slight pandemic,
Yeah,
and
just very minute.
so we've been able to practice or anything. So this is how we're gonna get the music out of us. So I think we're gonna start off with a couple records we've been having on repeat this quarantine, and hopefully you enjoy it. I guess I'll start out. I just got this Cramps record in the mail, and I've been listening to it a bunch. It's Off the Bone, a compilation record, and I used to just never listen to them because people said they were like the Misfits, but they meant aesthetically and not musically because it sounds nothing really alike, and I hated it because of that. But after giving it a bunch of chances, I am now in love with it and cannot stop playing it each day. This like last 3 weeks, I've had at least one full album played through. So I don't know if you've listened to that much, Dylan, but
No, I
you
don't
may
think I
enjoy them.
have.
Give it a try. Put on a song.
Alright, do you have any recommendations?
Can't hardly stand it.
Alright, that's one of like the top two that popped up.
There you go.
I will say, like, right from the start, this does like sound eerily familiar.
I know can't hardly stand it. The original version of the song is on Grand Theft Auto 5 on like one of the country stations.
Okay. I mean, like, as it's already starting, like, I got like very minute Danzig vibes, kind of.
Yeah, it's like I could see his vibes, but like the rest of the band doesn't sound like it'd be
Oh yeah,
Misfits
no,
singing.
definitely not the rest of Misfits.
But I could see him singing in this band.
Oh, easily.
So I guess I see some of the reference there, but just like I always like, especially when I first started like in like middle school and stuff, I'm like, this is nothing like the Misfits. This is
Yeah.
trash.
I mean, even like the aesthetic, like looking at their albums, like I
It
could,
looks like it'd be a lot more like it.
yeah. Especially like
Uh,
Fiends of Dope Island looks like that literally just could be a Misfits album.
Maybe whoever does the Misfits album art, when it gets rejected, they just send it off to them, and they're like, all right, cool, B-rate band. What have you been listening to? Doesn't even have to be an album.
I do know one thing I've definitely listened to a lot is Lapsed Requiems from the split between Cast in Blood and Foreign Hands. That's
You know, I don't know if you can see me at all right now, which I know you can't actually.
yeah.
I'm wearing my Foreign Hands hat right now, and I almost grabbed that album, but I put it back because I didn't want to double up the hat and the CD.
Okay.
So,
I also had to
great
check
pick.
my hat to make sure I wasn't also wearing it.
Well, it's a good thing you're not on video, otherwise we'd be matching even in spirit. And I guess not in spirit, but you know, I'm wearing an I Am shirt. What are you wearing?
Oh yeah, I'm wearing the One Step Closer polo.
All right, cool. Oh yeah, I literally know that. But yeah, that is a really good split. I wish it was longer.
Yeah, definitely. Like
I
that
will-
was. I think that was the first time I've heard Cast in Blood, and like the first time listening through Book of Lies all the way through. Like I started it, I'm like 6 minutes. I'm like, I'm not sure what this is gonna be in 6 minutes, but like the weird mix. Well, not really weird mix, but the mix of the heavier, well, not heavier, but more of like yelling and the cleans works really well with their style.
Yeah, I was pretty scared at first also when I saw the song length, and I'm like, is this just gonna be like a super long intro, super long outro, or like something like that?
Hmm.
But then listening to it, it doesn't feel like 6 minutes.
No, it really doesn't. Like, I'll be playing in the car when I'm ever, like driving at work or driving to work, whatever. Like I'll hear it come on, and I'll get through it. I'll look down at my phone. I'm like, oh, it's already almost over. All right.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like the whole record goes through. Oh, I feel like the only problem is it feels like it goes too quick, which is the best problem to have because that means I want more of it. There still hasn't been a Foreign Hands release longer than like what 3 songs.
Yeah, I don't think there has.
They need an LP.
We can only hope. I mean, but then again, uh,
Perfect time to record right now.
Tyler, their vocalist, is also in like 3 other bands.
Yeah, well, how about they all do a split together, 5 songs each.
Yeah, no, they have not had a single release longer than 3 songs.
What do they have total? 7 songs altogether. They don't even have a full release with all of their like.
They have
Things
8
they have
songs
released.
in whole.
8?
Oh, no, 7. You're right. I thought Summer
I was about to
18
say.
had 3.
Whew. Almost gave me hope there. Anyways, the next record I'd like to talk about. I've been listening to this good old "The Real Fear" by Queensway a good bit.
Oh,
And-
that's so good.
Also, when I grabbed that, I was like, might as well talk about Swift Minds at the same time because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Both really good records, just really groovy. Like I want to dance and punch at the same time, and I don't mean hardcore dance. I just mean straight up dance when I listen to these. Like really
Yeah.
good, well produced.
I remember when you first showed me them, Oh god, it wasn't too long after Swift Minds came out. Like, I mean, the first thing that I immediately fell in love with was like the samples they used. Like,
Oh, that intro,
I mean,
Feel for the Darkest. What is it called?
yeah, Fuel for the Darkest Man. Like, hearing
Yeah.
the sample on that, I'm like, I don't even know what they sound like yet, but I already fuck with it.
I think the first time I showed it to you, like we were like all about waiting for like band practice, waiting for the last person to get here, and I just like turned it on volume all the way maxed up in the room, and I started swinging before the thing even dropped. I'm out there just getting super pumped, throwing stuff around, moving the chair.
Honestly, is that how you show me like every band now?
Um, as my room starts to get more stuff in it, I try to do it less, but sometimes it just comes out, you know. Another band that does that around the same time was Flag Bearer.
Oh, dude.
I didn't have them in my list, but I just remember also like the first time that fucking knife point.
Fucking run it!
Just like start throwing arms all the way across the room. Oh man, the sample intro to one of their songs, just sample intros are underrated. And does Guardrail not have one? Am I ruining our band by not putting one in the beginning?
I mean, I feel like we're ruining our band by being in it. Another one that, like, when it first came out, I didn't listen to it as much, but then as I've been listening to it a lot more because there's not really much else to do, No One Goes to Heaven.
Oh, that good old New Left Behind joint.
Yeah. Because I remember after we saw them with Chelsea Grin, Spite, Traders, Geisha Train was on that too, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, I remember we listened to it on the way back, and I was like, okay, that was really good. Didn't listen to it for a good, like, week or two after it was, like, actually out.
Yeah, I had like a similar problem. Last year, there was just like 2 great records every week, it felt like.
Oh, yeah, no, last year was crazy with how many good records are coming out.
And this year, in comparison, there's been like 10, maybe 10 great ones total so far.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man, that's depressing.
No matter what, every time the song comes on for the record, Shadow of Fear, I immediately want to start punching either the person I'm delivering to, my coworkers. It's just, like, Dirty South feel to it. I fucking love it.
I still love that the first pressing, at least CD copy I have, it doesn't have the second track on it.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the back of it, which is fun. It just goes straight from 1 to 3. It feels like they just like sat down and listened to like a little bit of like old Crowbar and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the next band I want to talk about, just want to segue that in there. We got this Crowbar record right here called Sonic XX in its purest form. If you haven't listened to that yet, Dylan, I want you to give that a spin real quick.
Oh, I mean, already, like, immediately from the start, it's just going, like, it's not like it's a big, like, drop into it, but, like, the straight, like, girth that's behind it.
Yeah, I mean, if you take some looks at the pictures of the band, I'll hold one up real quick.
Yeah.
They look like they sound. It's like 4 barrels. I love it. But yeah, Too Low, Die Slow, Crowbar is a band I've been putting out a good bit. Just those riffs, those dun 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 dun, bam, bam, you know what I'm talking about? Like those.
Yeah.
It definitely influenced my writing on like our song Ritual Witch, which no one will know because we're never gonna record it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 14 minutes long, and I refuse to show you guys how to play it
And the
again.
thing is, besides you, do you think anyone remembers all of it?
I barely remember all of it, and I know when we played it once live, we only played half of it.
Yeah.
And people left the room. Our friend who came just to see us left in the middle of us playing it and said it was his favorite song. So if that says anything about it, I don't know what that says about us, but shout out to Bailey Miller, shout out to Super Tan, best indie in Kalamazoo.
I was a little late to this train, but one step closer for me to you.
Oh yeah, that record is pretty great.
I remember seeing like their name pop up with a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh, I should check them out at some point. And of course, anytime I say that, it's always super delayed when I actually do.
Before you move on, I have a very similar thing. I'll screenshot every single release I don't know, but looks cool. I have a folder. Let me check the size right now on my phone. The folder on my phone of screenshotted bands, and like this, some of these have like multiple bands per screenshot. I have 125 different images just to go through of bands, and a lot of those have like up to 5-10 bands in each one of those, and it's just like one day I'll just sit down and get through like half the list, and I'll be like, yep, that was a lot, and then I'll end up liking like 1/10 of it, but it's worth it every time. But there's just so many to put away.
I think I ended up watching their LDB set from this year, or this past year, or was it this year? One of the two. But
Time doesn't real anymore.
it really isn't. I can never tell you what day of the week it really is. But I remember watching that, and like I was first hearing like their general sound, and I was like, okay, and then just seeing how much the crowd was fucking involved in their set, like seeing that in combination with music, it's something that sends chills down my spine. And whenever I see something like that, I'm like, okay, I need to check it out because I've clearly been sleeping on something here, and that's exactly what From Me to You was.
Yeah, if it connects with like that many people, you can kind of just tell sometimes like the difference between watching like bands play in the crowd with them. They're either pulling in like a bunch of people from their like great live performance or just great songs in general, and it's usually both. It's good like summer window down driving heavy music.
Oh, definitely.
Like it's just that kind where like it's obviously like a little angry, but it makes you feel good.
Yeah. It's weird to say it, but it's like relaxing in a sense to hear it in the right setting.
Yeah, it's definitely got like a perfect mood for it. Speaking of perfect moods and records, a little record I like to listen to is "The Head on the Door" by The Cure.
Oh.
The happiest Cure record. Probably the biggest song would be like "Close to Me." You probably heard.
Oh
that.
yeah, no, I have the CD.
Yeah,
I had to see
yeah,
it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's I think my favorite by theirs just because it's like the saddest band with the happiest songs that they have.
Yeah, I
all in a collection.
Thoroughly enjoy that album. I mean,
oh wait, I bought it for you.
Did you buy it?
I got it for you for a present.
Oh my god, why do I... Like I said, time isn't real.
It's okay. I forgot that I gave it to you because I said I don't know if you even know this, so obviously I wasn't that memorable of the gift. But yeah, I just love putting this record on, and I can put it on a night, day. It's great for driving, great for just laying and listening to it.
Yeah, like whenever I think of this album, I always think of us driving back from shows and shit.
Speaking of driving back from shows, Taylor Swift Love Story.
Oh god. Okay, every time I even think of fucking Love Story from Taylor Swift, I immediately get flashbacks to... There was, what, like 5 of us in the car screaming along to it. Like, to the point where, like, I think my voice was hoarse, not because of the show, but because of purely singing Love Story the next day.
Yeah. Back to The Cure, though.
Yeah.
A record, if you're not wanting to feel happy, is Pornography by The Cure. Probably their saddest, at least to me, and everything just feels desolate and worthless when I put this on, and I like to listen to it while laying in the fetal position.
Crying or no crying?
Depending on the day. Sometimes I'm like having a great mood and I put it on for no reason just to feel sad.
You're like, you know what? Today's going too good.
Yeah, I need to set myself back. I need to put myself back in my place. So I put this on, and the best part about The Cure, when you think about how sad they are, I'm pretty sure I looked up, me and Hunter did recently, that Robert Smith was 14 when he fell in love with his soon to be wife. So he's been with this girl his entire life. Why are all of his songs so sad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, if I was his wife, I'd be like, either she's done terrible things or he's had a lot of experiences before he turned 14. But if I'm her the entire time, I'm wondering what did I do to you? All your entire collection of songs are all about being sad and getting to someone. I'm with you. I'm married. Why? Who was so far away? You know what I mean? Maybe it's when he's on tour or something. Is every song gonna be about that?
Literally.
All I'm saying is I would not feel good to be her. So, I'm gonna change the mood a little bit, and you might get a little mad.
Oh. Alright, we're going to this part now.
Yeah, we're going to this part. So, our dear friend Dylan here has a problem. Whenever he finds a new band, he finds out they're dead. Do you want to go on?
Yeah, I'd say, basically, it's a solid 50-50 when I find a new band, if they're actually, still active or not.
Every time I go to, show you a band, it's usually a dead band, and, I don't tell you it's one at first. I'm like, hey, check out this band. And then as soon as you say you like it, I'm like, yeah, they're dead. A couple I have here in my hands, Dwell, Innate by Dwell. It's a great record. Underrated, too. I don't see anyone talking about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't see more people talking about it. Especially, with the... Wait, was it because they got canceled, or...?
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe I'm supporting a canceled band right now.
I don't know. If they are canceled, then I might need to retract
Cancel
statements.
me.
But, especially with the good majority of hardcore that we have right now, I mean, seeing this band, how many years ago did it come out?
Right, yeah, 2016 still.
2016.
4 years ago.
Literally, it was at least a year or two ahead of its time.
Production from 2016, but the band Chamber. I feel like those two would be on tour right now if they were both still bands.
Oh, definitely.
Another band, though, that may have some cancellation talks behind them that is a dead band that you love, Wicked World.
Oh, Wicked World.
A deathcore band in a hardcore scene, but yeah.
Yeah. I still wonder how that happened to be. Because normally you see a lot of people that are into hardcore like shitting on deathcore.
Not even normally, just always.
Yeah, which is weird because like I feel like Wicked World has that like same thing with the Acacia Strain where it's like deathcore tuning but hardcore like playing.
A lot of influence behind it rather than it just being like a Slaughter to Prevail or a Spite where it's more obvious that it's just like deathcore.
Yeah.
It's not just blast beats and then super low breakdowns. Like some of the beats behind the songs are actually like hardcore drum beats and stuff, and like the riffage is just
and then
on an 8th string.
Not to mention like the vocals on any of Wicked World stuff is the range that Alex had on all of the songs was fucking incredible.
They were pretty good live too. I saw them and Dwell actually, both these dead bands at Take Hold Fest.
Man,
2016, 17.
Yeah, getting flashbacks to that when I couldn't go because of work. Fucking Batman.
We need more local fests.
I will never forget the abandoned building we went into for the EP release show.
Oh yeah, hey, you here for the show? Opening of this gate, and we're like, is this it?
Yeah, we're like.
I don't think he said here for the show. I think he just said like he nodded at us actually.
Oh, Brad.
Maybe I'll just Brad. Yeah, Brad Barrios.
Yep.
Or Barrio. I don't know if the S is pronounced. Anyways,
Yeah.
he nodded at us and like we came in and then there's just like good like 50 people just sitting there already.
No, there was like 50 people crammed up top, but then there was also another like I'd say 30-ish in the basement.
Yeah, and that's like before most of this is even like starting. There's like the first band's getting ready.
Yeah.
And it got even more packed like later on, and it was just every single band, at least someone was moving. It was like a lot of energy. It was pretty good. It was.
Yeah, because there's just like everyone in the scene there. That's literally all it was.
And then us.
Yeah.
The two people from the Battle Creek hardcore fandom.
Not to mention, I Watched You Die.
You tried looting my body after I died. Maybe I'll place a clip of that.
I feel like if you don't, we're like robbing the people of this experience.
I just, good old, I got burged.
Got hit with a good old berg. Basically, I was watching the band, then I saw some dude fly near us, and then once everyone like finally moved back, I went to see where you were at, and I noticed you were like dead. Well, yeah, because I thought you were about to pass out for a second. I'm like, oh shit.
Pain Divine and Dead Weight released a split.
Yeah.
Talk about dead bands. Dead Weight. Split into pretty much like, what are they, Corrode and Fatal End now? That's where the members are,
Yeah,
right?
basically.
Shout out to both those bands who both played our release show.
Dude.
Made it our best show yet.
Yeah, I still can never get over that show.
Yeah, probably never will because we're probably not going to play another show at this rate.
Yeah?
We were going to play some good shows with some good bands. Shout out Dog Years. Shout out everyone over like that Detroit side or that East Side bands.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Frat Fest was going to be great.
Maybe that would have been the fest that filled our void.
Yeah.
Now it's forever in our hearts.
Because I'm thinking about like Detroit like hardcore shows, I immediately think of like Sanctuary. I feel like the only time we were there was for I Am, Orthodox, and Boundaries.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that free Cold World show, but I think we had to record again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many good shows that happen there. And I always just like watch the footage after, and I'm like, man, I wish I went to that. Man, I wish I went to that. Man, I wish I went to that.
Man, just like that Backtrack final show.
I'm gonna kill you.
Hey, we're talking about dead bands that I like here. I had to get back to you somehow.
Put that back. I purposely put that record back. I purposely put it back. Anyways, you're a vinyl guy. What do you? Well, you're a vinyl and CD kind of collecting guy. I'll have to ask Evan when he gets on too on one of these. But what do you like? What do you prefer? Physical media wise, I'll include cassettes too.
Physical media wise, I say like for vinyl, at least for me. Vinyl, it really depends on like colorways. I mean, because I love the albums, but also like if there's not something unique to the pressing. I mean, even if it's just like one color, I normally like to stick to CDs, just because CDs, realistically, I get more use out of CDs than vinyl.
They're the only one you can really have on the go conveniently, like more times than not. Like cassettes maybe sometimes, but cassettes, even when you use them correctly, get like eaten up.
Yeah, but like CDs was like the perfect medium between like vinyl cassettes where it's extremely portable and like
the artwork's a little bigger than a cassette.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's the highest like quality too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially like now, or maybe not much nowadays, but like I know when I was growing up, even my dad still had like a big black book of CDs like flipping through the pages, trying to figure out something to listen to and whatnot.
Do you know what I hate about those are? The whole point of buying CDs is you get the cases that keep them protected.
Yeah.
And then people buy one of those and just slide it in, and it's automatically scratching it every time you use it.
Yep.
And then half of the CD covers don't even say the song names or even the album name. So I'll see some of these lists, and then they or these books, and then there's just a bunch of albums in there that are just an image on it, and I have no idea what it is.
I'm just I have no fucking clue what this is.
If I put it in real quick, and then I still don't know what this is. That cassettes are my least favorite though.
I mean, cassettes
easier to stack.
I mean, because I think really the only one I have is that "Show Me the Body" we got at Record Store Day last year.
I mean, my cassette collection's pretty small. Maybe I'll do a video or a thing about that sometime. But yeah, mine's very small. The only reason I ever get vinyls or cassettes, I usually get cassettes before vinyl, even though it's my least favorite, is I just want to support the band and they don't have a CD.
Yeah.
Because if they have a CD, that's the first thing I'm grabbing. And then if it's a Record Store Day and I really like the album, then vinyl's an option. The couple vinyls I got a Beach Boys one, a lot of old Beach Boys ones, but the only ones I bought new were a Beach Boys one with a beach ball, the colorway, and then the Zombies with Odyssey and Oracle album art on it. And I was gonna buy the Asking Alexandria one, and this Record Store Day, but we know that's split up weirdly now, so I have to look into that more.
Yeah.
But rest in peace, Record Store Day.
Self-Help Fest. I still have very mixed feelings about that whole fest.
Self-Help was the best lineup with nothing on the band's faults, besides Asking Alexandria becoming the worst band ever.
Oh yeah.
But the venue was the worst for it.
I will say my favorite part is Turnstile. They were trying to stop their set because I guess they were supposedly running behind I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, here's the dumbest thing about that is Denzel Curry was up next, and he set up in 5 minutes because all he had to put was his DJ stand, and they were ahead of time by the time he was set up, and they had him start ahead of time. So they literally had more time for Turnstile to finish their one or two more songs.
Yeah, so they were trying to stop their set, but literally none of the band was stopping. They were still going as long as they possibly could.
And I remember watching some kid jump the fence in front of us and getting pulled back out. And then I remember during Limp Bizkit, we all tried to
yeah, we were all trying to find the perfect time too, because we're all if we get kicked out, we gotta get kicked out during Limp Bizkit. There's no other acceptable option here.
Did you see the dude that immediately grabbed my arm? Me of all of us? Why me? But yeah, then.
Or the time.
Was it, though? We had to move the chairs back and everything. We spread it a little.
Oh yeah, we had a little tiny pit in between a row of fucking chairs.
Yeah.
If we're also about being singled out, let's not forget the time I almost got kicked out of the intersection because we were fake moshing during one of the bands. Oh yeah, because this is that Knock Loose Case Restraint. They were kicking people out for moshing and everything, and so I was jokingly punching him on the back, and security came up, grabbed my arm. It was about to throw me out until he stood back up because
what are you doing, man?
Yeah, security thought he was a girl. Completely.
Yeah, I thought I was a girl, and then I looked up smiling and laughing, and he looked at me with the most confused face. At first he was looking at you angrily confused, and then he looked at me what? I was laughing, and he's oh, okay, man, and just walked away. It was the best thing. Intersection, the only problem, they bring in the best shows. They need to stop fights, but don't stop, just normal moshing.
Yeah. That just kind of reminded me that we had, cassettes. I completely forgot that we did for a second.
Yeah, until you said that, I had no idea. I forgot. Shout out to Earrot Tapes.
Oh yeah, Earrot Tapes, fucking phenomenal.
Here we are roasting cassettes the entire time. Yeah, speaking of Earrot Tapes, I remember they set up at our little fest that we had last summer. On the warmest day of the year, which we didn't know it was going to be, we had a little mixed bill, and barely anyone came out because it was the hottest day of the actual year. You weren't there. Woodstock in the Creek.
Oh yeah, no, because I was in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it was a little fest we had there. Had boys come through for the Earrot. They set up their table, and they also played the show with us.
Don't we still have their drum seat?
Sorry, Andy, we still have your drum seat.
We'll get it back at some point.
It was a good one. It was fun. I like setting up shows at the house. House shows are always fun.
Yeah,
Barn shows are good too.
Dude, I remember the one we did at your dad's house. It was
the first one. I don't remember which was which, but are you talking about the moment where you ran out into the crowd because it was raining? It was the first one, and then you ran out thinking you were gonna be all cool. Didn't realize the length of my cord, and your amp fell off the top of mine.
No. That was my cab. Okay.
Yeah, it was on top of my. Oh, was it on top of your own cab?
Yeah, that we never even connected the two because it was a shitty fucking Fender Rumble.
Literally didn't even need to be there.
Yeah.
So it proceeded to fall off. Regardless, my cord snapped my cord in half on both ends because you also landed on their base.
Yeah.
And the cord still works a little bit, but you landed on your amp landed on it, snapped one hand of the cord. You landed on the other cord, and then there's footage of you running out and just falling out of frame. And then like a second later, the camera person gets knocked over as well. What was the line you yelled right before it? I want to see some violence.
Dude, like early days of me and Guardrail was like something else.
Watching your first show not moving at all, and then like a little headbang, but like your body doesn't move at all.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, I mean, because like prior to Guardrail, I had zero like experience with anything like that.
Yeah, I may have forced you into it.
Slightly.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. It's something I'm glad I've done and I'm still doing. I feel like since we talked about best show experiences, I feel like we need to go to worst.
Shout out to Scott, but I did not know that the stages were not covered at the Old World Village.
Oh yeah, okay, because like going to the Old World Village, I mean, first off, I had complete buttfuck of a time trying to find it.
Yeah, I missed the entrance twice.
In which I'm like, okay, so it's like way back here in the middle of the woods. I mean, I'm expecting at least some form of anything to cover here, because I mean, it was already kind of looking a little shitty out. But
there's a little bit of driplets every now and then.
I mean, but I'm like, you know, if we got something covering, we shouldn't have to worry about it. So we get there, and you know that meme where they go into the warehouse and there's just like a pallet on the ground, and
So
as
this
the
is the
stage, that's literally what it was in the middle of a forest full of
Just a
fucking
longer version of
mosquitoes.
There were so many mosquitoes.
Dude.
The spray would not stop it.
So you like know when you in like movies and TVs where you can actually see the swarms, but you know when you
Yeah, I think
go,
there was a plague. I think there was a
the amount of bug spray we went through, we literally would have. It got to a point where we had to hide in our cars to avoid it.
Yeah, and then only 2 bands got to play out of like the 6, and we technically ended up headlining it because of this.
Yeah, technically the first Guardrail headlining show.
I think that wasn't our own house show, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. What actually did Conspiracy Camp happen before that? I don't know. Regardless, it was a headlining show. Only 2 of us got to play, and then it started raining out, and we had to get out of there. Like cars started getting stuck on the way out.
Yeah, I mean, just besides the mosquitoes and just how it got rained out, I mean, it could have been a really fun thing. With mentioning Conspiracy Camp, I immediately think of during our set when the sound guy literally just left.
So every part about that show was, like, I loved all that, like, the mixing of genres and everything. We had a good old Life Loss on there.
Was that before or after EP release show?
Before EP.
Okay,
Before
yeah, that was the
EP
first time I
show.
actually got to see them.
It's the first time you at least got some. I think I saw him one time before that.
Yeah.
And,
I didn't expect a show, like, with such mixed genres to work as well as it did.
then we get to our set, right?
Wait.
Everything was good up until our set. And then we're up there, and then the guy's like, oh, I've never mixed a metal band before, he says, in between our things. And I'm like, all right, have you? And then he's like, I actually haven't mixed any live bands. And I'm like,
Excuse me, what?
all right. And he says, as we're like setting up, and I was wondering why Life Lost sounded like a little like weird. I'm like, because I think I'd seen them before that once because they sounded a lot different this time. And I'm like, it still sounded good, but it sounded like not mixed. It sounded like there wasn't even like PAs going. And then the dude gets mad as I'm sound checking, and like, cause Will goes up there to do lights. Shout out to Will.
Yeah.
To do lights for us, whatever. And the guy like gets mad at him or something. He's like really drunk and he just like walks off. And then Will's up there looking, like we see him like looking confused at us, like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know. And like, cause the guy thought he was trying to take over the sound, so the guy turned my mic all the way off, like in our first song, cause it was like okay for the first song, and he turns it off all the way, and then just like walks away. I never saw him again, I don't think. And then like Will stuck up there trying to get the sound back up there, so our entire set I had no mic. And I think I ended up using one of your guys' mics halfway through.
Yeah.
It was a fun night, but a terrible set on our end. It must have been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I think all of our shows have fun to them because.
Well, also, I feel like
enjoy
just
what we
shows
do.
of Papa Pete's have a different feel about them. Mainly, I immediately get flashbacks to throwing a toilet paper roll and hitting someone in the head.
Swamp Lord. It was all fun and games, pass, until you got it, and you just said, yeet, just
Yeah.
threw it right into someone's-
Well, no, I could have sworn someone told me to eat it, so I'm like, alright, bet! Yeet!
So you just did it. So I'm a simple man. I get instructions, I follow them.
Yeah, what else do I do? Yeah, that was also my first time seeing Swamp Lord, and oh my fucking god. That shit
I
was
love
crazy.
The bass drum with the hole on the side, just every time it hits, just goes through.
Oh, yeah.
I also love the free pizza.
Oh, yeah. Easily the best part about playing Pop Pete's is pizza. Whether you pay for it or it's free, no matter what, it is so worth it.
It's very well priced.
Very.
Well, I think about enough time on this podcast. We started talking about ourselves as well, so
Yeah.
It's probably a good sign to cut it for now. But
Yeah,
thanks,
definitely.
Dylan, for joining me on this.
Thank you for having me.
Like and subscribe or whatever, and then comment some things that you want to hear me do. Have a great quarantine, and don't die. All right.